Hey guys, I'm Mackenzie and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to walk you through how I made this dress and hat and other accessories for my Martha May Whovier cosplay from How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This is part of a two-part series. The first part is the makeup, so how I did all of this to my face, and this video is going to cover everything for the costume. So we can get into it. We'll start with the dress and then we'll go over accessories at the end. Excited, we'll show how it turned out. So this is what it looks like on me. My head is not in it, but it has this poofy underskirt, a lot of poof, and then this goes right over top. Lock that down. So here's what we look like. Before we get into the red velvet dress itself, let's talk about the Underfloof Tutu that I had to make. So I started with a tutu that I ordered on Amazon, and it ended up only being 2 of these really lame layers. So I decided to enhance it and make it floofier myself. I purchased a bunch of white tulle and then ruffled it on my sewing machine with my ruffling foot, and then sewed that onto the tutu itself to add a lot more fluff. And now onto the dress itself. Here's a look at the velvet I used for this project. It's a very soft velvet that I found at my local Joann's. Since I didn't have a pattern for this and I'm making my own, here is a look at all of the math I had to do before I could even start cutting anything. Since I'm doing a full circle skirt for this particular math I'm showing is how to calculate the radius and the exact shape and lengths you need to cut out a circle and have it be that full circle. I always add a lot of room in for error and cut my patterns like 3 sizes or 4 sizes too big. So here I am just marking the calculations I made, and I did end up cutting a lot of fabric off at the end. But, you know, I would rather have extra than have to add some more in or have to go get more fabric. So I would recommend doing that. So once I had the circle skirt cut out, I didn't end up touching it for a couple weeks because I had to do the top first. So I patterned this section myself. Again, I cut it really big so you can see there's a lot of fabric hanging over on the side, and then I just like to fit it to my body before I cut off any excess fabric to make sure that I don't have to go and cut again. And here we have the amazing soft floofy faux fur that ended up being my #1 enemy during this process. It sheds so much and sticks to everything. So there are 4 different areas on this dress that required this faux fur: the collar, the bottom of the skirt, and right now I'm pinning on the fur to the ends of the sleeves, and I'm just doing it about 6 inches up. I'm pinning the top first so I can fold it down so I can have a clean edge, and then I'll go around the inside of the sleeve and sew the bottom down. Once I had the fur on the sleeves, I sewed up the inside and then sewed them onto the bodice itself. I did take some videos of myself patterning the top collar, so I'm just taking some muslin fabric and I laid it over the mannequin, and you can just see I'm drawing out how I want it to fit. Again, I'm cutting it too big so that I can have extra and make sure that it fits correctly. Also, yes, I am wearing a corset while I'm doing my crafting because I have such bad posture when I sew, so this is to help that.
Once I was done with the pattern for the collar, I cut 2 identical pieces out of the floof and then sewed them together, right sides together, so I could turn it inside out and then sew it to the collar so it would be extra floofy. So back to the skirt. Since I cut 2 pieces, since I didn't have enough of the fabric to do a full circle, I just sewed them together and then I'm sewing them to the top here and just sewing around the edges, and then I had to end up cutting a lot of excess off, but that's fine. I just measured where the middle was in the back of the jacket and where the seam in the back of the skirt was, and I went from there. So like I said, I cut this extra long. So now I have to trim all that off, and I'm measuring, I don't know, like 5 or 6 inches above the end just to make sure that it's even all the way around. With the skirt cut to length, I start the horrible process of cutting out the floof again. I was covered in this stuff for days on end, but it was all worth it. I'm cutting about a 10-inch piece because I have to account for the fold over parts on the edge of the dress. Once I had my strip cut out, I'm measuring and pinning about 8 inches above the edge of the dress. That way I have an inch for fold over on the top and an inch for fold over on the bottom. This fluff will also be sewn down on the opening of the dress on the left side only, because that's the part where the overlap is. So here's me sewing that top layer down before I fold it over, and then next I'm going to fold the entire thing, pin it, and then sew that section into place. A super fun part of this is that the fluffs get stuck and sewn down, so every couple of minutes I had to take my seam ripper and rip the fluff that had been stuck there so that I could continue sewing along. The last thing to do was to make the pom pom balls, so I'm just taking an extra piece of fluff that I had and filling it with this weird foam that I had from a pillow that I got from Amazon, and I'm just shoving that in there, and then I ended up hand sewing it closed, which I did off camera because it was very tedious.
That's how we wrapped up the dress, and then we'll talk about accessories now. I did not film how I did the hat because I was just losing my cool and I could not. Working with this floof was such a nightmare because it shed everywhere, and then like trying to figure out how to attach the floof to the velvet was a problem because the velvet shows every single mistake you make. So like, it's fine. We figured it out. But so I just used a Santa hat pattern for this and made the edge very wide because hers is almost like the whole hat is this, but it does have some of this in the back. And then I just made these poof balls and filled them with foam from a pillow that I ordered, and I took some of the foam out. So in terms of accessories, she only has pearl earrings. I have 3 piercings, so I just was too lazy to take them out, but you can see the pearl here. And then she has a pearl necklace, so I would have that going. I don't have any bracelets or anything because I'm going to be wearing gloves and you won't be able to see them. I'll get the gloves in a second, but while I'm standing up, these are the, oh my God, there's so much floof all over my foot already. This sheds so much. I originally thought that she just wore like, not an opaque, but what's the other word for it? Like a translucent red pair of tights, but I found one promotional picture and I'll put it right here because it's a good reference picture for anyone who's doing this cosplay because you can't tell during the movie, but she's actually wearing a very fine fishnet. So, and they're red fishnet stockings. So that's what I was able to order on Amazon yesterday. Luckily it came in time so we can have that going. The last two accessories, I have these gloves here. Just red gloves. I'll link them in the description. Hers don't have this little bow, but I thought it was fun. And they're a little bit more tight. The last situation was the shoes. So if you look at them up close, it's not beautiful. I just took a red platform stiletto heel that I happened to have from college, and I put a men's red sock over it. So this floof to the sock key was to use a stretch stitch here, so it would actually fit on my ankle. I put these little no-slip toe pad things on them, so it, you know, works like a real shoe. Okay, so that covers the costume and all the accessories. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and don't forget to check out my channel for more cosplay tutorials. Check out the makeup for this tutorial, and then if you're feeling really generous, you can like and subscribe to my channel, please. Thank you. Okay, bye.